Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Gap Gunners Talk, and I'm here with Gunner Street. Steph, as your boy
Mhm.
Cape has Pausa, and we're here to preview Arsenal's Champions League game against Dynamo Zagreb. And Steph, first of all, how you feeling today, man?
First of all, gutted from a recent result, 2-0 up, should close out that game in the Premier League. Option the ability to keep it to 2 points or to keep it the gap to 4 points when Liverpool almost lost their game or drew their game, I should say. That would have took the gap to 2 points if we won our game. It's just like the swing, thinking it could have been a 2-day, we could have been up by down by 2 points in the league to now back to 6 points. That 4 point swing is massive, to be honest, to a lot of people's momentum and to a lot of people's optimism. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go again, man. Let's just qualify for the Champions League and go again in the league, man. A lot of optimism still to go.
Yeah, man. I mirror a lot of what you're saying, bro. Like Saturday was frustrating, still frustrating.
Mhm.
Like 2-0 up, we're looking good in the game. Like the players that we want to score have got some goals on, got some goals. I was thinking from that point, we're gonna go on, get maybe 3-4. Obviously, you can concede Villa a good team, but to concede the way we conceded and just, not being able to like bring back the win is
Yeah.
just poor execution, especially off the back of Liverpool getting that clutch win. And it
Mhm.
was just upsetting seeing our bench, obviously, the options that we could have like brought on to change the game, or lack of, I should say, obviously all considering the injuries we have. It's like, do you know what I mean? Like me, I just felt more numb. Like I was more proud of the performance. As I said, I kind
Yeah.
of, until you kind of get some signings, or I guess everyone comes back fit, like I'm just kind of,
You
what's
just
the
rolling
word?
with the punches, and
I'm just
nothing's wrong with
rolling.
that because to be honest, you, and I think I can't remember who I saw. I think maybe James that said it. You Bro, it's the same thing. You're gonna get this when you have an attack like what we have, and you're gonna get this when you have Thomas Partey playing right back. I said it before the game, and I said it after. I didn't slate Partey for the mistake, and I don't want to continue to slate Partey for the mistake because I think overall in the whole entire game, he had a very good game in terms of winning the ball back. He broke the lines really well from right back. I think as an overall performance, Arsenal deserved on the basis of play to win that game. But talking about moments in the Premier League, and that's what wins and decides games. Two crosses into the box, one Moreno couldn't deal with. To be honest, a great header by Tillemans. I'll give him his credit. Great finish, great header. And then Partey caught slipping. He assumed Kai Havertz was going to get the ball, judges it too early, and then ultimately that's your ass in the Premier League when you got two clinical finishers like Tillemans and Ollie Watkins. Sadly,
Yeah, sadly, man. And obviously, there are like things I feel like Mikel can do as well in
yeah,
within. Like, well, obviously, this is my opinion. It's not like I'm the coach, but like, trying a Rice maybe at centre back, leaving Party at the six, putting Timber at right back, or Rice at right back and stuff. But obviously, who are we to know in it? Obviously, Declan Rice, Lewis Skelly, Trossard, Gabriel, honourable mentions from that game in terms of just excellent performances. But just moving on to the Zagreb game. Obviously, we've got some positive team news coming out of training, to be honest, and just in general from Mikel's press conference about like Wanieri and Calafiori obviously being
mhm.
back in training, which is obviously very, very good news to hear. And obviously, from the way it sounded, it seemed like he, was saying that like they're ready to go tomorrow. Like, obviously, I don't know if that means they're going to start, but definitely means at least that like they'll be on the bench and be able to feature, and if not, get in a couple of minutes means that by the weekend they should be ready, to impact the team, which is positive news. So, what's your reaction to obviously Calafiori and Wanieri seemingly being back in full training and ready to go for the game tomorrow?
Well, firstly, what I do want to say in terms of Wanieri, I think great to have Wanieri back. Not only what he brings to the team, I thought just as an option off the bench or even an option in starting, I thought in that game where he went off injured, that first half, what he gave us was absolutely brilliant. Took his Premier League goal well. No, that wasn't his. Like, that was his second Premier League goal, right? He scored against
Yeah, he scored against no,
against Forest.
against Nottingham Forest, I think it was.
Forest was his first goal. He scored against
Yeah,
Brighton. Brighton it was.
yeah, Brighton, yeah,
Scored against Brighton, and in that game, and right before that game, I was doing a lot of analysis, and we've talked about this, and you kind of gave me help me gauge this idea and help me kind of see things this way. Odegaard works better in those 8 options, like getting the ball, receiving the ball deeper. And I think Nwaneri was someone I also like to say, like I also mentioned in terms of playing two of them together, and you're going to get something different. Odegaard operating in deeper spaces, playing that ball, firing it into someone like Nwaneri, who's more comfortable taking on the ball in the half turn in those tight spaces and allowing to work in those areas and get a shot off. We've seen him score brilliant goals against Preston. We've seen him score a brilliant goal. We've seen him take chances in and around the box all season. And just him just being that final third player, even if it's just a stopgap until the end of the season. I'm not saying he's a stopgap type of player, because that's a great talent we have. But overall, I'm just glad to see Nwaneri back, because I think we've been missing someone to work in those areas and hopefully provide for us in the attacking sense. No
exactly what you're saying. Like, I think Nwaneri, you already know, like receiving the ball back to goal, turning, you know, like selling the defender with the drop it in the shoulder, you know, going to that space, whether that leads to, you know, a slide through pass, or you seeing his confidence and his ability to, you know, curl that ball to either the far corner or the bottom corner, you know, test the keeper multiple times this season, like as you're saying, like not just like once or twice. So it's something that we've missed, and obviously maybe more than likely he's going to probably be using, you know, in the right wing position. But even so, like we saw how he was looking, at least, as you're saying, with the interlink with him and Odegaard, as you explained very amazingly in your video that everyone should check out on Gunner Street about Nwaneri and Odegaard, that see Odegaard in those deep areas is able to find Nwaneri with, you know, those nice passes and in the pockets, and with that he's able to, you know, operate. And with Timber, you know, overlapping as well, a more technical player helps him. Obviously, another player that's also back, you know, from injury as well, that ultimately will help, because, you know, even though he is a left back, is obviously Calafiori. We haven't really seen him in the last month or so, maybe 2 months, because he did come back against the Palace game, and then he played against Brighton, I believe it was, and he started against Brentford. Did he start against Brentford? I think Lewis Kelly did, but like he played in that like 3 games, and then obviously he was ghost again, and before that he was injured as well. So like it's been an up and down season for Calafiori. Obviously, you can clearly see he's a quality player. He's been unlucky with a lot of, you know, injuries, and, you know, Akin, like Tomiyasu type, but obviously we know the quality that he shows, and, you know, having him here, because obviously, albeit Lewis Kelly is playing well, but he's playing a lot of minutes, you know, at a young age, 90 minutes after 90 minutes, game after game, which he's probably enjoying, but obviously it's probably a risk as well, you know, the intensity of these games. Like Calafiori being back, you know, what's your reaction to that?
First of all, you made a very, very good point in terms of like that, him being so young, taking on so many minutes in terms of Miles Lewis-Skelly. And I think in that time, just so I want to give a shout out, because everyone in the fan base has talked about it. I haven't made a video directly talking about it, but Miles Lewis-Skelly has been absolutely brilliant since he came into the team. Not even just a stretch he's been in the team, even earlier in the season, the cameos off the bench, even before that, when his youth career, watching him grow in this Arsenal team, we always knew he was a baller. And now seeing it at this level, Haaland is doing something magnificent. But going on to Calafiori specifically, like I said, great to have another player back, because the bench is thin. So if there's any sense where we can pull Lewis-Skelly out the squad, sometimes give him a rest, maybe even shift around the back line, maybe even give Timber a rest, who's, like I said, off the back of an ACL injury, maybe keep Partey out to the team. I know Arteta likes to play Partey there, but we don't have a good record there with Partey playing right back. So listen, I think it gives us options. It gives us a lot of versatile options. But I just think another body helps it, especially when you're going into a difficult period of the season, or trying to get through a difficult period of the winter season. We have Man City coming up, Champions League we're about to review. A lot of games coming thick and fast. So any players back is crucial for the Arsenal, I'd say.
That's just it, man. Like, we need players back. We need options, and we just need to, you know, galvanize as, you know, players. Like, we need to not be able to rotate and give players rest, keep players fresh, because ultimately it's just sad, because obviously after every drop point, you know, right after the game, you feel deflated, you feel, you know, the season's done, but, you know, the title done, this and that. But when you kind of take the narrative, when you kind of like put it into perspective again, and you realize obviously it's 6 points, and, you know, another bad result from Liverpool, and, you know, good result from us, and then, you know, I think the dice just keeps changing. It's like the one thing
that's ultimately what I think a lot of people have to do against the Villa game. KP, if you saw my match reaction, or maybe even just me and you talking off camera when we talk, I was vexed, bro. I was gutted, bro. I was hurt. I was absolutely hurt. But at the same time, you come away from that lead and you take the positives away from it. Look, we played well. Those games can happen. And yes, I mean, if we were in a better form, we look at that game and say, fuck it, it's an unlucky game. But the form coinciding with that previously, and the fact that we haven't signed any attacking players, a lot of pressure is coming down on Mikel Arteta. And it has begged the question a lot from this fan base is if Mikel Arteta is the right guy for the job. Is this the right guy? Can he win us the major? And I just want to say people, for me, I can't tell anyone how to back their club, and I won't tell anyone how to back their club. But for me, relax, people. Relax, bro. We're in January. We were talking about the season being over in November, and opportunities throughout the season continue to give itself to this team. Like I said, I will continue to say, Arsenal need to focus on themselves, bro. I've been saying this for months now. Focus on yourselves. Put the points on the board, whether that be League, Champions League, whatever. Get your job done. Focus on you and the the puzzle pieces. Hopefully, because luck has not gone our way this season. Hopefully, the pieces finally fall our way somehow this season, man.
That's why, obviously, not to bang on it. It's just that's why I just want the attacking signing just to give a bit of options, give a bit of life, and at the end of the day, that's not going to certify any points going to be won or goals going to be scored or a run of games. But it's just more for the injection of life into the fans, into the players, probably change room, to Mikel feeling like he's been backed, and what that can do, what momentum and positive energy and just an impact like a new fresh face, fresh energy can do. But yeah, I've seen the Zagreb game, we have the opportunity to all but secure our position in the top 8 of the Champions League group. And
I think one win might do it. I think one win does it.
Yeah, one win does it. So obviously this is a favourable fixture. Obviously they're from a Croatian league. I think they're about third in their league. They're not necessarily the best teams. Obviously they've got wins, I guess, away at Salzburg, and I can't remember the other team, but obviously they're the team that got wiped 9-2 by Bayern. I'm not saying that means that we're going to give them that kind of spanking, but obviously with all due respect, like we should be able to, even if we do rotate, handle business against this team and book our place into the the knockout rounds of the Champions League. So just going into our predicted lineup and what we would love to see in this game, like I'm just intrigued to see what we go for, because I do expect Mikel to rotate on 1-2s. I don't know if he's going to go do wholesale changes, but like obviously goalkeeper, I guess we start with. Are we?
I think it's straightforward. I mean, unless you want
I think it's straightforward, and that straightforward means Neto will be starting.
I think David Raya will start. I don't think Neto. And that's a strange one for me, Neto, because I don't know how we bought a keeper that's not only cup tied in the competitions he would have been accessible to use for, but he hasn't managed to get a game anywhere else this season. Like nowhere along the line has he got a game. And first of all, that's just poor. That's a poor signing for me. You're paying a man just to sit down on the bench and just be like, "Oh, here, play for Arsenal." You could have given me the fucking job at this point. I could have been Arsenal's backup goalkeeper. I've never been in goal a day in my life. But let me not disrespect. But yeah, man, Ryan goal.
Nah, he's there in the training ground doing his thing, man, helping out, pushing Ryan. I think it's just that shows what Eddie done there. But yeah, obviously Ryan goal. So obviously we do know Saliba's still out. We saw the last game. Obviously Makogo, Partey right back. Obviously Timber centre back, which I don't think Timber played bad. I think he played quite good in the centre back actually with Gabriel. I did like him in that position. Obviously, as a position he can't play, but we did lose what he brings to us from that right back position. Obviously, it being Dynamo Zagreb, are would you go with the same lineup in the back? Would you put Timber back at right back and bring in the likes of Kivior, or start Calafiori maybe, put him right centre back, or shift Gabriel right over, or what would you do?
Respectfully, I don't think Thomas Partey at right back should affect this lineup, but I'd go Timber at right back, I'd go Gabriel Kivior, and I'd go Muz with Skelly. And that was the backline I wanted to see play against Villa. Like I said, I don't think Kivior is a bad option at centre back at all. I know people are going to talk about Gabriel playing right centre back. How does that affect his game? Or Kivior playing right centre back. How does that affect his game? At the same time, I've seen right footers play left centre back. Even at low levels of football. I know this is the highest level. At this point, I know there's angles and stuff, but man, come on, man. How technical are we gonna get into the game, man?
No,
I just think play two centre backs, play a right back, play a left back, or Muzzle Skelly, who has been good there, and don't
to be
give
fair,
me. Mhm.
to be fair, I will push back on you and the
Mm.
Kivior point, just off the basis of obviously Kivior, albeit is good and he is a centre back, and he's played in that position and in that role multiple times. But you see, when Saliba's been out or when there's been rotation in that position, so it's not like Mikel doesn't trust him or won't use him there. I think where we've seen Kivior get caught out this season has been, over the top and in physical battles. We saw how poorly he dealt with that ball from Trent against Liverpool when he came on, that led to the goal. How poor he dealt with the ball from Fulham, that led to the Jimenez goal. How poorly he dealt with that ball over the top to Mateta in the Carabao Cup that led to their first goal as well. So that's 3 examples alone this season, and that have shown that, like, obviously with that physical striker, that more direct team, he's not the best option there, albeit him being more natural centre back. And if you remember in that game, there was a lot of times where I was even surprised by Ollie Watkins' ability to pin the ball down and even pin the likes of Gabriel and spin them or either get the ball down. And he looked a bit more stronger than I actually knew that he was. And obviously, let alone his ability to run in behind, which he did do. So imagine Kivior in those situations, just giving those examples. So
yeah,
albeit obviously,
and also to credit, did Kivior give away the goal against Palace in the cup?
yeah, that's what I said against Mateta, the goal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So I mean, yes, yeah, there have been moments where Kivior has looked shaky at centre back, but at the same time,
in that game, it's just a matchup in it. It's more like in this game, obviously maybe Zagreb might have a physical striker, and the example that I'm saying now, Kivior might end up hopefully not, but obviously them being lower position, you would hope Arsenal have more of the ball, dominate more of the territory, and don't concede that much space and chances to where we're having to suffer the same way, or Zabra don't have the same level of quality as Ollie Watkins, for example, that will punish that space. But yeah, I'll go with this back 4 as well. I would obviously love to. At the same time, though, just to caveat that, I wouldn't be. No, fact. I'm going to push back. I wouldn't be mad at putting Zinchenko in there, left back,
Zinchenko left back,
and giving Lewis Skelly the rest. Obviously, albeit Zagreb, I think Lewis Skelly started the last 5 games in a row, which is quite good. And I probably won't be surprised if Mikel does play him there, because he probably will. Because why not? Like, we played on Saturday, it's a Wednesday game, it's quite a long rest. But we do play on Saturday, so it's kind of a short rest as well between
after that game. Yep. Now I don't have a problem. Like you also mentioned, it is lower opposition. Now I don't want to disrespect these guys, but Zinchenko, like I said, I don't want him just to sit there and just rot away on the bench either. We know he can give us quality. We've seen this even this season, even in limited minutes. He hasn't had like any performances where you've seen him this season and he's been like, oh shit, shocking. I mean, he's had. I remember some good games he's actually had. Came off the bench or started, and he's been quality. So I wouldn't mind Zinchenko getting started.
And this kind of game, obviously, what he can offer and what he may be able to do. Obviously, it's a game that we should be able to rotate, in my opinion. And if like that game poses itself, which in the last couple of games we haven't been able to rotate because we've played, Villa, we've played Spurs, we've played United, we've played Newcastle, we've played Brighton. Tough opposition, back to back to back. So it wasn't going to really rotate that much. So a game like this, maybe Lewis Skelly might have an opportunity to play high up the pitch, but I'm just teasing that a bit. So that's just my opportunity. So in the midfield now,
I agree.
Would you at the 6? You putting Partey there? You putting Rice there? Are you going to go with the man Jorginho, or what would you go with?
I was listening to this. I was gonna go with Jorginho, but then I looked at that team and I said, do you really want to allow a potential counter-attacking team to hit us on the counter? We have Jorginho, Kiwior, and Zinchenko. Are the legs there? Especially, you're going to ask a lot of your Timmy, asking a lot of Gabriel. And we've seen already with even more, I think, more physical, capable players at the back. We're already caught out. Even with William Saliba and Gabriel in the back line, we've been caught out by counter-attacks. One shot, one chance, bang. So I just say I'm stuck in my mind right now between Declan Rice, and Thomas Partey. I haven't made
Yeah.
that decision. In front of them, I would start Moreno Odegaard. I thought Moreno Odegaard, to be honest and to be fair to them, I thought they done really well in that Villa game. I thought Moreno was one of his best performances, one of his better performances, I should say. And I don't think a lot of people are subscribing to this thing and saying, "Oh, Moreno is a bad player. He's a shit signing." I don't understand why people are trying to say that. I don't know what they expect of Moreno. I don't know if they've ever watched Moreno before we signed him. I don't know what they're basing he's a shit player off of. Like I said, I don't think Moreno is bad. I just think the expectations of certain fans are just at a place for a player where they're misguided, I should say. But at that base of the midfield,
I just think people are misprofiled. I think people have misprofiled Moreno in their mind, or people, because of what they wanted Arsenal to do in the summer, are judging Moreno in the eyes of like, oh, he just can't do this and he's not doing that and this and that. And obviously, cool. Like, I understand all those things and I can agree to criticize where you need to criticize, but he's there to be a connector. He's there to be a quality, like to be a dual winner, to cover ground and to ultimately be a leader. And in his first season, where he's, as again, I keep on saying this, had preseason, had a shoulder injury, we probably won't see the best Marino until next season. But can I entertain a Lewis Skelly in that left 8 position?
Bro, you know me, I'm always down to. I mean, we talked about it against Villa. We even mentioned about putting him in there against Villa. We talked that we had this conversation before, and Lewis Skelly operating in those pockets, playing those balls in behind to the left back. That's potentially going to be marauding forward. Hey, listen, I'm not opposed to Lewis Skelly being played at the 8. I would not mind it, but I just think Mikel Arteta wouldn't even do something like that, especially knowing he has the option of dropping either Partey. He's gonna have to drop Partey, Moreno, someone is gonna have to miss out.
I feel like he might play Jorginho, and I think Partey, and if this back four was to play, for example, I think he's gonna play Jorginho, just out of the mere fact that we're at home, we're not away, so it's a bit different.
I think that'd be a mistake though if he does.
I don't think it would be, because Jorginho and Zinchenko will have a lot of the ball. Will dominate the ball. Trust me. We're not Arsenal. We haven't been playing. I don't think our play has been bad in the last few games.
I agree, but I don't think the issue is with those players on the ball. I think I'm very comfortable with those players on the ball. I'm just thinking about don't think about the opposition. I don't understand that, but
no, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I'm just like, do we need to play our best players against Dynamo Zagreb when they just played back-to-back 90 minutes, in 3 days? Partey playing 90 minutes at right back and then at 6. I would love to rest him. Rice playing 90 minutes. You could tell Rice was exhausted at the end of that game, carrying the team, trying to is it necessary? Like, I'm not saying I probably, I don't mind. I'm just like, if the concern about Arsenal is about playing Jorginho or Zinchenko, we're thinking about the transition so much more than what they're going to bring on the board, then I'm concerned about this team in general, because there's no disrespect again, but this is Dynamo Zagreb, man. We should be handling our business. Again, if Mikel does rotate and then it does go wrong, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to say, hey, I told you so, KP, and I hold my hands up, bro. But I'm just thinking about it, because Partey and Rice are definitely going to start against Wolves on Saturday. So why not give them the rest?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Jorginho could be in there. I just mean,
because what's the next game that? Okay, Girona away next week. Maybe if this game is all put to bed, maybe that game can be a full rotation game in the light of City. But at the same time, having a game like City's game on the horizon, I don't want all our players to just be rotated, even though I want them to rest, because I want them to kind of be in a groove going to that big game. I don't want them to be coming off of rest. But
I mean, even if we win this game, even if we do rotate, it's not like he's gonna put in the star players even in the final game. So he's gonna.
But that's what I'm saying.
Regardless,
I would rather him put the star players in the final game, just because City have all to play for in the Champions League. So they're gonna probably field a strong team in the week. Obviously, yes, they're gonna exert their energy, but when they come to the Emirates, it's that momentum. If they do get a good result, they do, qualify maybe automatically, or, just make sure they qualify. That's, they're building momentum slowly but surely coming to the Emirates. And if, albeit, yes, all these players get a good rest, which will be good. I'm just looking at the momentum, intensity, kind of, you know what I mean? And that's a game that we need to win, innit? I don't know, innit? Maybe I'm thinking too ahead and I'm getting a bit too nerdy and stuff, innit? Let's just focus
No,
on
no, no,
this.
no, no. I mean, there's all good angles to look at it from. My perspective of it is go qualify. Then we'll talk about over rotating in the final game, and then we could talk about how we go about it there. But right now,
So this
I'm
game you're
not.
gonna
Like
go
I
with
said, so far, I'm not even mad about this team. No, I can even keep Jorginho for the sake of it. But I'm saying, even if that team, my thing will be, or even if Arteta starts this team, be very willing to make changes if you have to.
100%.
Don't just let this game float by trusting players. Get the job done. That's all I want to say. Get the job done. I think even right now, because like we're gonna go to the front line, it's probably gonna be the same suspects we normally have to choose from. There's not many options in there. So far, looking at the squad, do I think we should be beating Dinamo Zagreb? Yes. Do I think this team is good enough to beat Dinamo Zagreb? Yes. Without even looking at the attacking lineup. But like I said, we're gonna have to ask a lot of certain players in this team, and I already see how this game might go. I already see how this
Uh,
game.
I think this goes depends on two ways, man. It's either Arsenal play, because the reason I put more of the thinking more of the Kiviors in there, Zinchenko, Jorginho is Odegaard, heavy passing players, and players that are willing to break lines, players that are willing to play those kind of passes. So if we're playing more or less opposition, who knows how Zagreb might come out? Are they going to come out and try press, have an open game, or are they going to play a low block? Obviously, I don't know how they play, and I don't know what's at stakes for them. Let me even check in terms of the Champions League and stuff. But I just feel like, let me see what they are. They are 25th, so
Yeah, so they're bottom.
they have. If they win the game, I think they were on. How many points are they on? They're on 8 points. They're level on points with Man City. Jokes. So if they not going to beat Arsenal, but they might have incentive to might want to go for this game with only 2 games left, to try and potentially qualify, which means they might come out, and obviously might be stupid for them, but I also should be handling their business. That's what I should be saying.
Yeah,
and moving on to the front line, obviously, I don't know if you wanted to go to the same front three or would you bring in Sterling? Because I think Havertz will 100% start, which is inevitable because obviously one, he scored, and two, it's the only player that's going to play there. Obviously, Trossard has been looking very jinky and very good in the last couple of games on the left, which obviously, and with him having that little interview on UEFA as well, that just kind of tells me that he's definitely going to be starting, which is fine. Do you give Sterling one last chance? Because with Nwaneri back in training, as we discussed earlier, once Nwaneri is back into fitness, that guy is next in line, if not the first option in right wing. So that means Sterling's opportunities are going to, lessen. Is this his last chance? Dinamo Zagreb start where Martinelli starting on the weekend, or maybe Nwaneri and Martinelli.
I think it's dead, man. I don't want to be that guy, but it's dead, brother. It's dead. It's dead, bro. It's dead. It's dead, bro. It's dead, bro. Like even just watching his cameo, bro. Like he gives you he gives you something, and then the cameo just peters out, bro. Sometimes, but listen, Sterling, his Arsenal career, honestly, it looked like a panic buy from the Arsenal. Unfortunate for him that he had to suffer on the bench sometimes. But honestly,
it's better than what Chelsea banished. But Chelsea banished him for the first team. Best being on the bench for Arsenal and getting the minutes that he's got is better than what he would have got if he stayed at Chelsea. So,
true.
You better eat what you're eating. You're still getting paid $350K a week, better than what I'm getting. So,
true, very much.
Hey, man,
but it's dead, man. It's dead, man.
But obviously, yeah, that to me, the story about this summer window, why Edu got put on gardening leave. Because if Edu had got the job straight away at Forest, I would have been like, okay, cool. It was one of them ones. A vacancy is opened. You applied for it. You kind of moved. You know what happens in it, like in jobs. But this was more. He left the job, but he didn't really leave the job. And I feel like when you get fired, they have to pay you out. When you quit, obviously, it's more time. Or maybe I don't know how that works out, but if you get fired, they have to pay you out or pay you in some sort. So You know, the Arsenal just kind of dug on because it was kind of coming out, Eddie Nottingham Forest and Fabrizio. Then it was like, he left Arsenal, but there was no Nottingham Forest announcement, and there hasn't been. And maybe there might be one at the end of the season, but
Maybe it could be in the works. Maybe, but it's just maybe
but the
legality.
fact that he hasn't, because then why would, if it was going to be end of the season, then why wouldn't Arsenal just keep him on to the end of the season, knowing that there's another window to face, and then knowing that they're going to let him
probably
in the
got
season?
sacked for the window, man. Probably
This is what I'm saying. So, like, I'm not blaming just him because I liked Eddie for the most part, but when you have to look at it, and especially in this window, if either he maybe wanted to get some players or wanted more power, or Mikel had more power and wanted players, and Eddie didn't get them, and in the end he just kind of gave him some easy links, Sterling loan, and Neto was a Brazilian player that would die to come to Arsenal to sit on the bench, because why wouldn't you, like, even though, because he was already replaced by.
But that goes back to this blanket statement these football fans, not even just Arsenal. I see it at United, I see it at Chelsea, I see it at Spurs, I see it all over England, I see it all over football in general. People are so quick to say, this manager, sack the manager, sack the manager, sack the manager, sack the manager. The manager has given us so much evidence on the football pitch, footballing wise, as to why he should still have his job. Even with the injuries, even with the setbacks, even with the disappointment, we're here still possibly talking about qualifying for the next round of Champions League and qualifying and continuing to pursue a Premier League title.
And that's automatically qualifying, by the way.
That's automatically qualifying. So, United are in a relegation battle. Tottenham are in a relegation battle. Chelsea have fallen out of the title race. Even in our worst years, we were never this bad. We were never as bad as those guys. We've been in the mud. So for us to be here talking about sacking a manager, what are we talking about? What genuinely, what are we talking about? We're talking about Arteta hasn't made good signings. Look at this team right here. You mean to tell me these players are bad players? These players are not bad players. Right now, it's poor on the form, injuries, confidence. There's a lot of factors going into this team as to why the team is not firing right now. And that's why my gripe is not only with the board and how they attack both of these windows this season, but it's also with just like the whole approach. Mikel Arteta, like we talked about, he can't coach the players and sign the players and go and call these other players too. Like who right now is running transfers? Yeah. A lot of people still don't know. Who are clearly we still are in the dark around transfers. Who's in charge of that? And people are just saying, oh, Mikel Arteta, he hasn't signed the guy. Oh, he hasn't done this. But at the same time, come on, guys, we know there has to be a director of football in most football fan bases nowadays. Football is not just sack the manager, black and white anymore. Football is a multi-layered sport, bro. Multi-layered from top to bottom, culture-wise, top to bottom. We know this. So not as football fans, we have to get past that. Sack the manager. This manager is not doing good enough. Or we haven't won the league title. Come on, take your head out of the ass and watch the games and give proper analysis. I'm being real, KP. I felt this way for years. It's not just something that came upon. No, I felt this way. We were shit, and I felt this way even in our good days. I'm sick and tired of how people watch football and debate and talk football. Sometimes it's frustrating, bro. People don't provide any context. People won't tell you that we have chopped and changed lineups all season. Every one of these players, except for Kivior, Jorginho, and Trossard, maybe have missed time through injury. Every single one of these players have missed time through injury, and that's crazy to me. That we still haven't been able to field a consistent 11 that we've been able to do at the back end of last season. Even when we had Jorginho in the team for Partey, even when we had Tomiyasu coming into the team, we still had a consistent 8-9 players in the team, week in, week out, giving us quality. That's why we're able to go on that run. When you have Nwaneri going down as a backup, look at the bench quality. What will you expect? Look at Odegaard going down at crucial times in the season. Look at Rice missing certain games. Look at Partey missing certain games. Look at Havertz missing certain games. Like throughout the season, littered, and that's just little one moments and little one games, and that affects the one result, and that ultimately affects how the season progresses. I look at the league table, where we're not poor. We've lost 2 league games all season. Two. We're about to qualify for the Champions League if we win tomorrow or today. Like, come on. People need to look at the whole bigger picture, bro, instead of sucking a manager and just looking at things. Yes, be frustrated. I am frustrated. I don't like where we are right now, but we need to really provide context. And I think that's what I like to do while we're on this podcast between me and you. Because yes, even though we might disagree on certain topics, even though we might disagree on certain transfers and profiles of players and setting up a team, at the end of the day, we want our team to win. And at the end of the day, we have nuanced conversation that I think is good enough for this fan base to have than just screaming and shouting into a microphone, saying, "Oh, sack the manager," saying, "Oh, we're shit. Oh, these players are garbage." Because the same players that went out there, and if they won that game against Villa, that had been 2 wins on the bounce, we go and sign a player. Look at this club now. Come on, man. Relax, man. I say let's just keep going, bro. Give these guys confidence. If these guys haven't given up, there's no way we as a fan base should give up because there's nothing we could do other than support. So if the people that are out there playing the football have not given up, don't give up on the players. That's all I have to say. And that's just me. That's just me, KP.
Nah, some real talk you just felt right there, man. Some heartfelt real shit. Like, I don't even need to add on to it because for me, you already know my views and you know what my opinion and all that stuff is, man. Like in this day and age, people there's a social media way of looking at things and there's like a real logical way of looking at things, and that doesn't mean that you still can't have criticism, banter, tribalism, but you can also still have, you know, a level of consideration and understanding in all contexts. You know, removing just, you know, talking about other teams and obviously within the Arsenal fan base and just the way people just, as soon as anything negative around Arsenal happens, is always find a scapegoat, whether that's a manager, a player, and, you know, completely pull your angry emotions and say things like, or hold them to an agenda.
I don't mind that from opposition fans. I don't mind that from United fans because they have nothing else to do. Their club is shit. I don't mind that from a Tottenham fan. They're in the mud. I don't mind that from any of these fans. I want us as Arsenal fans. It probably never happened because it's already. I think it's going way too far. It's going way too far already, and I think it's going to take another probably 10, 20 years, another whole dynamic change, a whole another footballing landscape change to change it back around. But I think the way a lot of people like to analyze the game has gone so far to a certain extreme. It's like people are so like we're willing to sack Mikel Arteta because we didn't get a striker. Okay, we go and sign a striker. No, what if we turn the shit under the new manager? What if we're in eighth? What if we're in eighth because the manager's not good enough? What if we're still not competing? What do you say then? Oh, you turn around blame on the players. Oh, Mikel Arteta signed these players. Oh, they are the same players that you almost won a league title with. Come on, man. Just a few months ago, we were in a position to lift the league title, man. Come on. I say just relax, man. We can still
that's what we say. Arsenal fans just don't know. And most fans can just tell they're just young. They just don't know what it is to be in a title race and to understand. And even though we're 3 years in, but these guys don't understand because of their willingness and I guess just their eagerness so much to want Arsenal to win the trophy, which is fine. But I always say, if you love your team and you know that you have a good team, you're going to love them. Obviously, you're going to criticize, but you know where your team is going. So the patience that you have comes from more what you know than what you're just telling yourself to believe. I feel like obviously with people that are angry, I feel like because they so much want, maybe just out of predicting that they want to, you know, also going to do it this year, or telling themselves or expecting also going to do it this year, or wanting to ask to do it so they can go, you know, and slam other fans of other fan groups, which obviously is all part of football. And if they want to do, they should, you know, about what the champions and stuff, because you see how everyone hates Arsenal. But I think Arsenal fans themselves, like, need to stop doing that at the detriment of the team, especially where, obviously, yeah, it's social media, fam. Obviously, we live in that day and age. Everyone's going to see everything. I'm not saying anyone, like, you can't stop the bots and, you know, the narrative, but just in general, like, just the react, where people so like, just relax, like, especially where we're at the top, like, criticize who you need to criticize, but don't hate and don't slaughter, and have more of an element of support rather than, like, I told you so with X, Y, Z type of mindset, or I said this player isn't good, or I said the man this and that, and this and that, or I told you guys what. I'm not saying don't say those things, but end of the day, it should always result back to, like, we're a good team and we should support the team, like, and hopefully the you know, the board members, the owners can, you know, do everyone in this club a favor. Which, as I said, like, if all this like ruckus is going on, to get a good sign, and it kind of unites the fan base again, because, you know, most people will start to kind of believe, because just out of just, you know, you see dangle something new in their face, you start to get excited. If that thing goes well, starts well, then you start to believe again, and just in general, you start to think, okay, the club is you know able to try to, you know, because we haven't got a forward signing that's like being exciting in years, like. Like that's like forward signing is different to getting the midfield or a defender or a DM. Like it's different. And I'm not saying we're gonna get that player this window, but getting a player that you know his levels and you know it's good and you know they can bring to this team is exciting. Like we haven't had that for a long time. Like
Very long time.
so yeah, man. Like I do agree with you, but this is our lineup, obviously. Raya, Timber, Kivio, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Odegaard, Marino, and Martinelli, Havertz, and Trossard for the game against Zagreb. And what would be your predicted scoreline for this game, Steph?
4-0. 4-0. No, not to be disrespectful, but come on. I think, and I'm not just saying that to just say that, just to say, oh, fuck it, 4-0. I would say that based on the fact that when I watched that Villa game, 2 of the goals we scored, yes, Martinez should have done better, but at the same time, you put the ball in the back and net, you take your chances, right place, right time. Because if they didn't score them, we would be cussing the same players. So they took the chance as well. Martinelli got in front of his defender, made the chance happen, put it on target, made the keeper have to make a decision. Same thing with Kai Havertz. Got in front of his defender, clean strike on goal, hit the ball at Martinez. He had to make a decision. He didn't, and we get our goal. Yeah. I think again, what we will see against Zagreb, I think we're gonna dominate a lot of the ball, even with the player, whoever we play. I think we're gonna dominate a lot of the ball, dominate a lot of possession. And it'd be very interesting to see who he does play, because that would also obviously dictate how we do play in terms of like what style of play, what kind of setup do we go about doing. But I think the goals are gonna come, and I think Mikel Arteta, seeing that performance against Villa, he's gonna try to get these boys to go again, and let's just hope the ball goes in the back of the net, and let's just hope the run starts from now. So I say 4-0 as my prediction.
No, I like the prediction. I would go. I'm gonna go 5-0 just to be different. Fair. I'm gonna go 5-0. I think Arsenal have the ability to dominate the ball, create a lot of chances, and hopefully play a bit more free, albeit with it not being Premier League. Us, almost qualified in the top 8, when we do that, and just what I'm saying, just the repercussions are less. Not saying that means you should just play, nonsense, but instead of taking more risk, in terms of, just trying to enjoy the game, in terms of trying to, put the team to bed, which Arsenal can do, we should do, and I want us to, and I'll be feeling very good if we do. Obviously, I just saying despite who's starting, so I'm going to 5-0. Steph has gone with 4-0, and just before we leave, just a quick word on this man and just the little rumors that have been coming out. Obviously, more from ITKs, but obviously it's been picked up around Fabrizio, Sky Sports, stuff like that talking about obviously Arsenal interested in Cunha. Obviously, off the back of what his manager said after the Chelsea game, where he was like, he feels like he's been distracted by clubs talking to him. His attitude hasn't been necessarily the best. Obviously, he's come back from injury, so he's not necessarily going to be at his sharpest. But obviously, he didn't like how, when a player's going through, and it happens to probably a lot of players. The transfer window, there's interest in him. He's like the team that he's playing for isn't necessarily that good. Like whether it's in a difficult time, but obviously there's rumors coming that Arsenal are interested in Cunha, which we probably did know, but if it was coming up from ITKs that Arsenal had agreed personal terms with him and such like things. Obviously, I know that you already spoke about in one of your videos that you can check on Gunner Street about Cunha being the perfect signing for Arsenal this January. So I know that you definitely like the player, but just quickly, just 2 things. Putting you back on the question that you asked, what would be the maximum money you would want Arsenal to pay for Cunha?
Realistically, I think they bought him for, I think I heard James on AFTV say they bought him for like 50 million. I don't know how accurate that is. So if they did buy him for around about 45, 50, realistically with the season he's had, I'd see us paying around about anywhere between 65, 70. I would not go above 60, 70, honestly. I would not go above 70. Because at that point, I'm thinking, if you have 70, 75 million to splash, let's be real now. If you have 70, 75 million to splash, why not just get a gunman that you back? Why not just go get the Sesko deal done if you like Sesko? Why not go get the winger deal done if you like another winger? If you have the 70, 75 million to put down right now. You got the P's to put down. Put down the P's on a real certified gunman that's gonna do it for you. Don't just buy Cunha because you're just buying Cunha because oh wow, we got Cunha.
Yeah.
If you like Cunha and you think that's what you need and you think he's gonna solve the issue, go ahead. I don't think he personally ultimately will solve our issue. I think he's a good player. He gives us something to end the season with. He gives us an option. He can run through the lines. He can work in the pockets. He can run the channels as well. He can score goals in and around the box. But do I think long-term Cunha is that signing to say, okay, we have our gunman? No. But if you have the 70 million right now, go get it on a real gunman, I say. And so far, it looks like Sesko is who Arteta likes from all the links and from everything we hear. So if you have 70 million, I just say no more than that for Cunha. But I say if you have that kind of money, spend it on Sesko or real gunman, potentially. What about you?
I do agree. I like Cunha. Obviously, it's an interesting thing. Obviously, I would, similar to you, like maybe 65 million max I would pay for him personally. And maybe you can add some 5 million in the add-ons if you want to, just nice it up. But max 65, probably more. I want to play 60, just because obviously he's coming from a team that's down there. It's a inter-prem, transfer. It's not like he's top of the goal scoring prem charts right now, where he can he's the most informed player.
True.
Buy him. It's gonna get like and as you're saying, he doesn't replace that definite goal scorer or necessarily remove the fact that we still can and should go for another striker in the summer, even if you get him. I do feel like he does bring things that our team don't have, like as you're saying, like the ability to create from the false 9 position, or ability to play in the 10, being a bit more of a bigger player, being a great ball carrier as well. And he has an ability to score, overperform his XG, which means, and obviously score from a lot of, with minimal chances. He's quite clinical, which obviously based on how Arsenal attack and maybe our chance creation right now, having a player that maybe can just, make the most of his one chance a game or 2 chances a game, let's say, similar to what Trossard was doing last season, might just be, good, as you're saying, for the running and just for this period. But I do think he will bring things that we don't have, i.e. he can replace that, what the things that Gabriel Jesus brings in terms of just ability to, carry the ball, drive past man, have elements of, excitement that he can bring. And obviously a bit different than him. He does shoot a bit more, there's a bit more ball striking to him. And I can see in his shots, which I guess obviously is a bit different than obviously Jesus, on top of obviously his height as well, being a bit more taller. So I like the player. I think Prem January transfers are always going to be good, because they're just kind of transferring to a team and a league that they're already playing in. The intensity, the transition of obviously moving countries different than just moving cities. And I think in general,
the beauty about it, he's going from a team that's at the bottom of the same league to a team that's challenging for something else.
That's challenging for something else.
Same way how Trossard came in. Trossard came in. I mean, Brighton weren't shit, but at the same time, Brighton were just languishing. Yeah, they were probably going for Europe around about that time, but they were sitting mid-table. No, Trossard is going to a team at that same time. I think we're flying in the league, potentially looking on to challenge for a league title. Hey, listen, that brings something to a player. No, a player knows that he's wanted by a top club. He's a top prospect in the eyes of many teams around Europe. You have to go prove that. You have to go continue to show that. Him playing at Atletico Madrid, having that move previously before not working out, he has something to prove. And I think that's also a factor that he should be able to take into the back end of this season. Like you said, he always played in this league. So I think for us to have an impact signing that's going to help us and give us production from minute 1, I think Cunha or another player, Semenyo, I think is a really good option as well. But Cunha is another good. Cunha is a really good player, and I think to give us immediate production, especially with Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus going down for the season.
Yeah, man. Cunha, Mbeumo, Semenyo, Kudus. 4 players that I wish we could get 2 out of the 4, but
my thing is, if you got 70, 75, not to cut you off, sorry, but you said Kudus, and I know before you even transition from there, if you got 70, 75, you can't go and sweeten the Kudus deal. West Ham are in kind of a bad position too. You're not going to sweeten a deal with Kudus, kind of game Kudus' ear, kind of say, hey, Kudus, look, we want you. Here's the P. Tell West Ham, look, hey, force them to move out, trying to do something, and look, have the P. We got the money right here, bang. You don't think we could get a deal done for 70, 75 for Kudus?
100%
Maybe
we
something
can.
to do.
100% we
That's,
can.
that's
But
all I'll say.
whether
If not,
Arsenal will
then
do
go
it
get Kudus
is
or
another
somebody.
question. Whether Arsenal will do it is another question, isn't it? And that's the annoying part, because obviously as the days tick down, I remember this. I'm getting the same feeling I was getting, but in reverse in the summer, where I was like, "There's no way Arsenal don't sign a forward and don't do this." I remember we were doing videos of like, "Oh, this player is gettable, and that player is gettable, and this is the price, and maybe we might get this. Maybe Arsenal cooking up, deadline day special, or last minute kind of buzzer beater." And in the end, it ended up being Sterling. And I've seen that many a time from Arsenal. And I'm not saying that they may or may not be trying to get a quality player, but leaving it too late leave yourself with less room to negotiate. So if a team is not budging, and knowing the team like Arsenal are not just going to the team wants 70 million pay, they're going to try to do 65 million or 63 plus this, and try spread it over maybe a longer time period than what the team might want, stuff like that. I know that's why a lot of time Arsenal don't get deals done, because they might just be like, oh, we want to pay over 5 years, instead of a team might just want 2 payments, because they're not as affluent as Arsenal. And then another team might just come in and say, we want to buy this player, or we'll buy this player for lower, but we'll give you all the money right now, which the team might just want to take, because they might just need those funds right now. Which is why I'm saying I'm just waiting to see, like all these things, bro. Like I'm just at a stage now where I'm just waiting to see. Like it's nice to see some rumors kind of cooking up as I was hoping, but again, bid put in or bid agreed, then I'll start cooking. Till then, it's like I don't know who we're gonna sign.
KP is numb. KP is numb. People, give him some love in the comments, man. Give KP some love with a like and subscribe in the comments, man.
I'm just like, hey man, we'll see what. Like if we do something, I'll be back in. If we don't do something, I'll still support the team, but I just won't. As I'm saying, I would know, even going into the summer, even if the Zubimendi deal is something that we do, have agreed, and is something that we are going to do, which is very good. Again, I did credit it in for us to doing that, but obviously obviously being proactive, knowing maybe Jorginho, Partey, or both might be leaving, but choose to know that we just is a Zubimendi and maybe a backup keeper, as we would need to get one. And then they have to make a trace on Reece Nelson, or somehow Reece Nelson goes into next season and he's the backup right wing again. And you know what I mean? You know how it gets, man. Like I just need Arsenal to show me that they're going to sign a forward in form, attractive player that can bring something to the team. And I'm not saying that player has to cost a stupid amount of money. They could cost 30 to 40 to 50 million, but do it. That's what I'm saying. Do it. And then once you do it, I'll start to believe, because now I feel sad, getting emotionally invested into these games as much. I'm not saying I'm not emotionally invested, but like when we lose or when we drop points, feeling so heartbroken, slashing these players, like slashing the manager, and warranted, obviously, in-game performance, obviously, there's stuff Mikel could have done or his lineup was wrong, you criticize. If there's players that, some of the chances that Havertz have been missing that have been criminal, you criticize. But I don't want to be like, oh, my days, like this team is not good enough, and then start to kind of anger these players when this team is good enough and these players are good. And even if without, Saka or something playing, this team is still good. But when they're the only options and you can't even make, 2 or 3 changes, change around certain personnel, and you can, obviously, but they're all left backs, so you can't really change the midfield, you can't really change the attack, you can't really change the 2 centre backs if you don't want to change, get obviously based on the injuries. It's like it's not fair. When they win, I will support them. When they play well, I will cheer them. When they lose, I won't be so as upset, because it's like most of these players, especially the players that I played in this period of like the last month, have been playing game after game after game. Probably doing the Ben White thing where they're carrying knocks and stuff and just having to play through, because if they don't play, you're going to be having to play academy players in the title race, which is a different, a whole nother conversation in itself. And I'm not talking about academy players like Lewis Skelly and Waneri, but the ones that might not necessarily be primed and ready to be playing for the first team. So that's just me, bro. Like I'm always going to be positive, but I'm just saying in terms of the transfer window, I'll say this, I'm just not optimistic. it's the 22nd day now for me, and I haven't seen a solid rumor about anyone.
Sad,
like
man.
everybody's like, it's like, come on, man. So why should I now keep that optimism of Arsenal and the board are gonna do something? Like, do it first, then I'll react off that. But I'm not like, so in that way, I'm not gonna get myself too hoped up. So that's just me. Sorry for my rant, people, but that's just me getting that out.
Valid, very valid.
But yeah, hopefully Arsenal can bring some positivity tomorrow with that result. Maybe get the goals that we said, and then hopefully going towards the Wolves game. But it's this deja vu of us saying this after the Spurs game, before the Spurs game, going to the Villa game. Arsenal sign somebody, or at least see some movement. But yeah, man, that is what it will be. Hopefully, some rotation, some good goals, some good football, and give that buzz again. So, guys, you already know. Go subscribe to Gunner Street. Obviously, he's on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Subscribe to Cape as Porter. I'm on the road to 1K subscribers. Smash the like button on this video. Subscribe to both our channels. Comment down below your predictions, your reactions to the lineup, just your thoughts on anything we have said in this video as well. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a nice evening. Have a nice night. Have a nice morning. Take care. Peace.